guys, I am here with your full moon lunar eclipse tarot card reading. Yeah, that's a lot. I'm doing this a little bit differently this time. In the past, I've done the readings in groupings by like earth, air, fire, water. And so I'm just gonna do a 2-card reading for each sign. I'm going to pull 1 tarot card from the Psychic Tarot and 1 Power of Surrender card. Because we're closing out a eclipse portal, I wanted to use the Psychic Tarot because I feel like it's kind of one of the more powerful decks that I have. And because it's a full moons are a great time to release things, to surrender things, in partnership with the fact that we are coming out of the eclipse tunnel. I was gonna say coming out of the eclipse sandwich, but you can't come out of a sandwich. In my mind, the new moon eclipse and then this full moon eclipse is kind of like this tunnel. And I've heard from a lot of people that this full moon has been really kind of emotional for them, like just feeling kind of all over the place. I definitely feel that way. Yeah, so just know if you're having a difficult time with this eclipse, it's not just you. So, yep, that's Brandy. It's not just you, everybody's having a hard time. You wanna say hi to everybody? Maybe, maybe not. So the first sign that we're gonna read for is going to be Aries. So Aries, the first card that I have pulled for you is the 7 of Wands. So this card really speaks to, obviously the message is stand your ground. Brandy approves of this card, she likes it. This is a time when you're coming into your power. Maybe you've struggled with the ability to say no. Maybe you've struggled with some people pleasing. As you come out of this eclipse portal, like a lot of that's gonna fall away. You're really gonna be coming into your power. This is also a card of like healthy boundaries as well. So if you've kind of struggled with saying no, just understanding that no is a boundary, and when we have a hard time saying no, it's because we are not comfortable with boundaries, either other people's boundaries or setting our own. But you are definitely coming out of that, coming into a time of power. Like when we look at this person, they got their wand in the air, like the darkness is behind them, they're facing towards the lights, really positive card. So if there's anything that you feel like is making it hard for you to move forward in your power, to act in your power, to step into your power, those are the things that you kind of need to look at releasing. And your surrender card is surrender your, hey, can you not bite me? Rude. Surrender your belief in scarcity. So this card says, the universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. So this person is definitely ready for an adventure. So if you deal with the fear of losing things, not having enough, there never being enough, that's definitely something that if you can work on releasing that at this time is going to definitely help you step further into your power. So that is your message, Aries. Oh, I got cat hair all over me. Brandy girl, can I put you up here? Okay. So the next reading, or the next reading is for Taurus. So your card is the Crown Chakra card. This is again a number 7 card. In numerology, 7 is associated with the divine spiritual. It's a God number, a number of intuition. Crown chakra is all about our intuition as well. So as you come through this eclipse, there's been, it feels like an up-leveling of your intuition, your spiritual, maybe development, like your partnership with God, with the divine, with the higher power. it almost feels like there's been some shifts around meditation. So if you're someone that has felt like, oh, I can't meditate, I don't like meditation, like give it a try again. Like just give it a try. If you've been curious about what your psychic gifts are, card reading, channeling, even working with like runes. Like I don't really work with runes, but if that resonates with you, just different tools that can help you connect with your higher power. Now is really the time to give those things a try. Your surrender card is surrender, low self-esteem. So Taurus, you're usually typically like pretty secure in who you are, but there might have been some things that you dealt with at the end of 2019. Maybe there's some things that have come up that need to come out because of the full moon and it being a time of release. So if there's things that make you feel not good about who you are, or if there's people that make you feel like you're not good the way you are, or just whatever messages, even if it's things that are like messages from the media, you really can let those things go. And the message says you deserve success, love, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. The next reading is for Gemini. And this is the Six of Swords. And it is the card for moving on. So full moon, again, release. This is a time for you to be able to gracefully let go of something. And as you can see, this person is stepping out of the dark and into the light. And even like these leaves that fall into the dark, they're old. When he steps into the light, these are bright green leaves. This clock also kind of like lets me know that it's not a forced moving on. It's not a forced ending. Like the season is changed for whatever this thing is that you're letting go of. Like it's perfect timing. It's not a forced surrender, because sometimes we can be in a position where we have to surrender for our best good. This is just, it's run its course, whatever it is. Might be a job, might be a relationship, might be a habit, might be a thought pattern. So yeah, moving into the light and out of the dark, whatever things kind of held you back. And your surrender card is surrender your fear of intimacy. So if you've struggled with being comfortable with being vulnerable, if you've struggled with being seen by people for the authentic person that you are, Geminis are very like fun-loving people. You know, you guys are, you're an air sign, so you really just kind of, you know, go with wherever the wind blows. You know, Gemini is the twin, so there can be two sides of you. And typically Geminis are known as kind of like the party sign, the fun sign. But you have a shadow side as well. And if there's fear around people seeing your shadow, this is the perfect time for you to surrender that fear and to know that everybody has a shadow and everybody's hiding their shadow, because socially we're taught that it's not okay to have that shadow. So this is a perfect time to surrender your fear of intimacy, of having someone see into you, just like, you know, intimacy is into me, see. Releasing that fear of having or allowing people to see into you, to see who you really are. So Gemini, your surrender card says, you're ready to let love in, compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. So yeah, that's such a good card. Like, it's safe to love. It's safe to share who you are. Beautiful. Next is Cancer. I'm a Cancer. I don't know what's going on with me in this card, because it has been coming up a lot, and that's okay. I don't mind. You want to come up here, Ben? Come on, buddy. So this card is Major Arcana card. It is the Hierophant in the Psychic Tarot. It's the Wisdom card. And I've talked about this card before. To me, it's very much like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But when we look at this, you know, this Hierophant, this teacher, this guide, this leader, there's these two people. There's these two people in the background at this house that have caught his attention, that are like, hey, come over here. So to me, like the message is that like you're being called by someone, like you're either being called in as a teacher or as a student. So there may be a student out there that is ready to learn tarot and they're calling me in, which would be totally awesome. Or it could be that you are, I got cat hair on my face. You are a teacher and you're calling students in. So yeah, and if you feel like there's a fear that you're not ready, you don't know enough, oh no, band 10. That you're not ready, you don't know enough, you're not prepared. That's definitely something you can release. I'm getting attacked by cats. That's something that you can release. Can you please stop? Brandy's trying to get Ben's tail. That's definitely something that you can release with this full moon. Cancer, your surrender card. Look at this. I don't know what she's doing. I'm going to stay out of the way so you guys can enjoy this cuteness. So Cancer, your surrender card is to surrender to what is. So as we can see, this lady's kind of just really open, just available to receive. And this, to me, this message is a little tricky. So it says flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accept it exactly as it is, and it will bring you peace. To me, I always read it as surrender to surrendering, which is, I've worked on surrender for a couple years, and there's still times that like, I'm like, I don't understand. And so my coach, Carrie, gave me an analogy for it that really makes a lot of sense. And she said that, you know, when someone surrenders, they're waving the white flag. You know, she's dressed in white. And they're saying, I surrender from being on the losing side and I want to come over to the winning side. So if we look at that in the kind of scheme of like personal development, personal growth, like I am surrendering my position on the losing side. I'm surrendering my position in struggle and fighting and scraping and hustling and all these things. And I surrender to whatever is on the winning side. And Brandy's in, she wants to surrender. Yes, you do, you little loaf. And so when we surrender to the winning side, what we are really doing is trying our best to step into alignment. So Cancer, that is your message for the full moon. If there is any significant resistance that you have towards whatever it is, if you got your big crab claw clamped onto something, might be the time to let go of it. Because as I keep saying, full moon is a perfect time to release things. Leo, you are next. Your card is the 6 of Wands. And so this is victory and success. So you are coming out of this full moon eclipse, just being your fabulous Leo self. You got your little horn, making an announcement. Everybody, I made it out. Life's good. Everything's great. The things that you, the things you dealt with during the eclipse portal, that eclipse in December to the eclipse now, like this is stuff that you've been ready to release. I kind of feel like this has been a little bit gentle on you, which is awesome. You know, good for you, because some of us are like, oh, all over the place. But maybe we're just always all over the place. Anyway, so you're coming out of the full moon eclipse feeling victory and success. So if there's anything that you feel like is holding you back from achieving victory or success, now is definitely the time to let it go. And your surrender card is surrender procrastination. So sometimes the first step is the hardest because in our minds, we think about all the work that it's going to take to get us all the way to the top of the staircase. So whatever doubt, fear, anxiety, avoidance comes up that keeps you from taking that first step, those excuses, the distractions, now is definitely the time to release those things. And so the card says now is the time to jump on a goal instead of Now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. So as you step out of this portal, take that next step. Take that one, look at this little bitty, just a little step. You can do it. Okay, now I've got cards everywhere because of you cat children. That was Leo. Next is Virgo. So Virgo, this is the 8 of Swords card. And it is trapped in fear. So this full moon might be really heavy for you. The great thing about this card is that when we feel trapped, it's really just the fear in our mind. It's just us. Because when we look at these bars, there's no lock, there's no door. It's kind of slanted. So it's not even a real prison. It's this kind of makeshift prison that we've created in our minds. We're holding ourselves hostage. And the things that you are afraid of, like you have the space, you have the permission, you have the support, angelic spiritual support, maybe even tangible support, to really dig in and release these fears that have held you back from achieving, doing, being whatever it is that you want and that you've wanted for a long time. So this can be a really significant turning point for you. Man, what you doing, buddy? Hiyo. So the surrender card for you, Virgo, is surrender your addictions. And so when we look at this card, like the thing that stands out obviously the most is this mask. And when we think about coping mechanisms and we think about addictions, like these are the things that people use to mask the pain that they're experiencing. One of my just amazing Australian friends had posted about her sobriety, that she's been sober for over a decade, and that, you know, she used different substances to put on this mask of being a party girl. And a lot of us do that in different forms, you know, like we will people please, and people pleasing is the mask that we put on to pretend that everything's perfect, everything's okay. No, I don't mind. I can help you. I can do this. Sometimes people drink, and that's the mask they put on so that they don't have to think about or feel whatever is coming up. There's so many different addictions that people suffer with, social media addiction, technology addiction, but just understanding that whatever mask, whatever covering you're putting on something so you don't have to deal with it, this is the time that you can surrender that this is a time when things are really divinely lined up for you to get the understanding, the support, the help that you need to make this change. And if you're not ready, that's okay. You're going to get another opportunity later, because that's kind of how this life journey thing works. But if you're feeling like you're strong enough to do this, to surrender some of the unhealthy coping mechanisms you've picked up, now is definitely the time. That was Virgo. So next is Libra. And your card is the Magician card, or in the Psychic Tarot, it's called Awareness. So this card is very much about manifestation, instant manifestation. Whatever it is that you have been wanting to create, to call in with this full moon, you're releasing so much that now there is space for you to call this in, which is really amazing. So if we think about kind of space in just a tangible way, that let's say you want to buy new furniture, usually what happens is we find someone to buy our old furniture, or we donate our furniture so that we have the space to bring it in. So for you, Libra, being able to release things in this full moon is going to give you the energetic space to call in what you've been wanting to manifest. And it feels like you've been trying to manifest something and it just hasn't like dropped in, it hasn't popped up. And it's not you, you're not doing anything wrong. There just isn't energetic space for it. So the things that you have been wanting to release, now is definitely the time. So some ways that you can release things are like full moon ceremony. I'm a big fan of burning things. I mean, not oh, that sounds terrible. I'm a big fan of writing things down on paper and kind of tearing them up and burning them. I have a little fire bowl in my backyard that I use because I haven't gotten around to making a fire pit. One day, the, you know, trials and tribulations of home ownership. But doing some kind of process, some kind of ritual where you can release things, whether that's, you know, writing a letter, tearing it up and throwing it away, burning it, even if you wanted to go out in nature and speak it out and just leave it there energetically, whatever you need to do, and maybe it's clearing space tangibly. So for Libra, your surrender card is surrender to success. So the thing that may have been holding you back from manifesting what you want might have been a fear of success, because sometimes people are afraid of succeeding, because what happens when we succeed is that we're seen. Like, we're really seen, we're out in the spotlight, and this image, it's a mirror. It's a mirror in the forest, and it's reflecting, you know, whatever is coming back to the person that's looking in the mirror. So sometimes, like, success can be a scary thing for us, and we want what we want, but if it comes with success or attention, sometimes that's the thing that we're afraid of, that we need to release. So the message is, you are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. That's good stuff. Ben. Buddy, can you sit down? Please. Come here, I'm gonna give you hugs. Scorpio, your card is 20, which is the Judgment card, or in the Psychic Tarot, it's the Truth card. Excuse me, ma'am. Can I help you? So the Judgment card to me is very much about bringing things back to life. In the traditional tarot, the Judgment card is a big angel in the sky, and there's people coming out of graves. So people are coming back to life. Like, it's the resurrection. It's very biblical. I feel like Truth is a really great depiction of judgment as well, because when we're being judged, what's happening is people are leveraging their truth onto us. And truth is very subjective. Like, there's my truth, there's your truth, there's the truth. And everyone's truth is different, just like everyone's judgments are different. That if I'm a really non-judgmental person, I might not judge someone for driving drunk. And if I'm a really judgmental person, I might, you know, judge someone for crossing the street when the pedestrian light's not on. So it's just such a subjective scope of things. But if there are things in your life that you are judging yourself for, if there are things in your life that other people are judging you for, this is the time with this full moon for you to really look at those things and figure out which ones do you want to release. Because it's really your choice. Like, you determine what your truth is. If someone's judging you for the way that you dress and you don't see anything wrong with it, then your truth is not that you need to change the way you dress. So that's not a judgment you have to let go of. So Scorpio, that is your tarot card. Your surrender card, which I feel like goes very well with it, is surrender to setting limits. So she's got her hand up. There's also like a, it's kind of hard to see, there's a glass that she's pressing her hand against. So it's almost like this double boundary of, there's the glass that's separating her from this other person, but she also has a hand up saying like, no, I'm setting a limit, setting a boundary, don't come any closer. And when we look at that Judgment card, you know, and understand that when we allow people's judgments to affect us, that's because we haven't really set some limits and boundaries on what those people are and are not allowed to say, how we internally accept or don't accept what they say. So the message of this card is, it is healthy to set boundaries in relationships, practice expressing your needs, and remember that no is a complete sentence. So that's surrender to setting limits. So whatever makes you feel uncomfortable about saying no to people, this full moon is a great time for you to just kind of release that. And also release any guilt around setting boundaries if that's present for you. Next is Sagittarius, and this is, at this point, you guys know, Two of Cups is one of my favorite cards, but this depiction is so sweet and tender and beautiful. It's spiritual union. So we've got these two people and they're kind of putting their third eye chakras together, and it's like lighting up. It's all fireworks and magic and love, and I love it. So this card for you, as you come out of the eclipse portal, you're, you know, releasing the things that are not helping you during this full moon. You're opening a space for spiritual union to happen in your life. You're opening the door to love, that you're open to receiving love. If you are partnered, if you're in a relationship, if you're dating, this connection is just, whatever the connection you have with that other person is just going to deepen for you. So this is just like really beautiful. I just love it. And your surrender message is surrender frustration. So if you are single and looking, and you haven't been able to meet anybody that matches your values or character, this is the perfect time to surrender that frustration of not getting what you want. If you're having a little bit of a struggle in your relationships, if you're having a little bit of struggle connecting to people, whatever those things are that are frustrating you, now is definitely a time to release them. The message is frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. So when we look at this woman, also she's kind of halting herself. She's got a hand on her chest and she's got one hand kind of behind her, like, okay, I'm gonna let go of whatever is frustrating me. Let me recenter myself before I move forward. So Sagittarius, Brandy wants you to take that message seriously. So whatever has been frustrating, irritating, annoying you, this full moon is the time to surrender it. Hi, babe. What's up? So Capricorn, you are next. And your card is the Two of Pentacles. It's movement, choice, and decision. Sorry, movement, choices, and decision. So in the traditional tarot, Two of Pentacles is the kind of, I don't know if he's like a court jester, but he's got two coins that he's kind of balancing. So this is really about kind of making a decision in regards to money, business, maybe a relationship, like how you want to step forward with something, making a decision about the resources you have, money, time, energy, people, if you manage a team, that there are lots of options. As you can see, this person's got lots of great options. You know, there's nothing dark or ominous behind any of these things, but he's one person and he can't go through four doors. So the difficulty is in figuring out what is the best thing for you. So during this full moon, if there's any doubt, if there's any fear, if there's any anxiety, worry, low vibe kind of thoughts, feelings about one of these choices, not the right way to go. Also, if you're having those feelings like worry, anxiety, stress, doubt, negative self-talk in general, this is really a good time to release those things with the full moon. So, Capricorn, your surrender message is surrender stubbornness, which I find to be a little bit funny because you're the goat. Goats can be rather stubborn, a little bit obstinate. So if you have found that you're stubborn for the sake of being stubborn, time to let go of that. If stubbornness has just been an operating like mode for you, this is the time that you can release it if you want to. You don't have to. The message for this card is if you're tensing up or taking a rigid stance about something, gently observe yourself and become more yielding. This will help you communicate more lovingly with others and yourself. So this almost feels like resistance a little bit more than like being stubborn. So if you are in a power struggle and a stalemate with someone, it might be in your best interest to take some time to step back to figure out what you really need and how you want to communicate, because maybe the way you want to communicate is not the same way that they communicate, and that's okay. And then take those steps forward to kind of move out of the stubbornness. So that's your message, Capricorn. Excuse me, ma'am. So Aquarius, you are next. Your card is the Hermit, or Solitude, in the Psychic Tarot deck. So we see this girl, she's by herself, looks a little bit different than the traditional Hermit, which I feel like I've talked about at length. She's obviously by herself, it's solitude, but she's taking time to just kind of be with things. She's got a book, maybe she's seeking knowledge, but she's not digging into studying. There's a lot of open space around her. You know, there's this kind of castle in the back. There's this really beautiful kind of dusky glowing light. When we look at her face, she's not upset, she's not distraught, she's just kind of resting. So this might be an important time for you to rest and for you to relax. If this eclipse has been really hard on you, which it might have been. I'm an Aquarius moon, but I'm also a Cancer, and this is a Cancer full moon. If this has been a really hard full moon eclipse for you, I definitely would recommend like resting, relaxing, just taking some time, some quiet time for yourself, and thinking about like what makes your body and your mind feel best, and try to incorporate a little extra of that as you go through the full moon. The full moon is effective for a couple days afterwards. And because this is an eclipse, it's going to be in effect a little bit longer. So this might be a shift for you, a shift into kind of boosting up your self-care, kind of up-leveling your self-care from where it was. This might just be like, hey, you need a little bit more. So Aquarius, your surrender card is surrender outdated beliefs about yourself, which is just such a beautiful card. During the full moon, this is a perfect time to let go of those limiting beliefs. If you are not aware of what your limiting beliefs are, a really easy exercise is to make a list of everything that is quote unquote wrong with me. And so these don't have to be things that you believe are wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong about you. And there's nothing wrong with you, but they could be things that people have told you. Like for me, people have told me my whole life I'm too sensitive. That's something that's wrong with me, which I totally disagree, because if I wasn't sensitive, I wouldn't be able to do this. Just making that list of the things that are wrong with you, and reframing those, or writing them down and burning them to release them, is a great exercise during this full moon. And it just, you know, that's a way that you can surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. The message of the card is let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to be a beautiful big tree? Come on. So Aquarius, that was your surrender card. And last but definitely not least, so I love me some Pisces people. Pisces, your card is light, which is the sun. With this card, the numerology of it is 19, 1 plus 9 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. So as you are coming out of this full moon, you've released a lot of kind of darkness. And for Pisces people, you guys, you know, you're those fish that swim really, really deep in the ocean. So you're comfortable with darkness. But sometimes the things we're comfortable with are not the things that are best for us. So the things that energetically make you feel heavy, that make you feel separate, that make you feel lost, this is a perfect time to release those things, because there's so much about you that is light, you know, and that is the sun, and that's beautiful. And, you know, fishes like sun too. So just this is a really beautiful card for this full moon, that you're coming out of this darkness and you're coming into the light, and it's a really positive time for you as you come through the second part of this eclipse portal, that, you know, you're optimistic and you're ready to kind of reach for these little magical glowy lights. Your surrender message is surrender to prayer. So Pisces people are typically very spiritual, a little bit psychic. Well, not a little bit. You guys are probably the most psychic in all of the astrological signs. And prayer doesn't always have to do with religion. Prayer is, in my opinion, really just conversation with God. And so with this surrender to prayer card, it says, give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard throughout the universe and answers and support will arrive. So if there's things that you need help surrendering, if there's things that are dark that you're not sure how to let go of, prayer is a perfect way to ask the universe to really do the heavy lifting and to ask the universe to take those things off of you, to ask your higher power to take those things off of you instead of feeling pressured to figure out what you're supposed to do to, you know, get rid of something or to release something. Like, this might just be, you know, an exercise in realigning with your higher power and reconnecting with, you know, with that higher power that maybe you've become a little disconnected from, or maybe that you've never connected to. Now is the perfect time, you know, with this full moon eclipse coming out of this portal. Why not start something new? So yeah, that's the last surrender card that's for Pisces. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you have a beautiful full moon eclipse, and I hope that your 2020 is going well. Let me know what you thought of the reading. Do you guys prefer the 4 groupings of readings, or do you like having them all in one video? I'm really open to feedback, open to suggestions. So Brandy's getting hungry. Are you hungry? Yeah, so hungry, little chunk. So yeah, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please do subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. I'd appreciate it. Definitely like, comment, and share. I want to hear what you think about the readings, about the style of reading, about Brandy being Brandy. So I hope you guys have a great full moon eclipse, and that the rest of your January goes well. I will see you for the new moon reading in a couple of weeks on the 24th. So lots of love. I'll see you later. Bye.